is Lea Zentgraf. I study translation, cultural studies and sociology in Heidelberg, São Paulo and Berlin. And since 2021, I'm a PhD researcher in the project Food for Justice, Power, Politics and Food Inequalities in a Bioeconomy at the Freie Universität Berlin. So about my research project. The food crisis is topical in political debates and in daily life conversations. Some speak of the impact of the climate crisis, others of the COVID-19 pandemic, others about the grain shortage due to the Russian attack in Ukraine, and also the rising food prices because of the inflation. However, the current crisis affects people differently. So my research wants to shed light on the multidimensional and context-specific food inequalities. And I want to identify projects and ideas of social change and innovation in the German food system with a specific intersectional approach. So I look into the claims and practices of food movements with a focus on gender inequalities and subaltern groups. So I started with a mapping of food movements and initiatives in Germany to have a first overview and also to better understand the heterogeneous field of actors. And let's zoom in a bit. So one of my case studies is the Berlin Food Council, which organizes itself around the claim of food democracy. So they claim they want good food for all. And first findings from my field research show that questions of access to food are very relevant in their debates and strategies against food inequalities in the Berlin food system. So, for example, which food inequalities encounter women in migrant communities in Berlin, and how do they organize, act against them? Or another example would be which strategies can help to tackle hunger and nutrition poverty in Berlin to actually support citizens in a vulnerable socioeconomic situation, such as homeless people or families which receive social aid. And maybe now to sum up a bit, as I said, the current food crisis is multidimensional and affects people differently. So food movements demand a socio-ecological transformation from the local to the global scale and show in their practices possible alternatives to the current system. And activists have very diverse visions of the best way to guarantee good food for all. But in the plurality of their ideas and practices, they also feel a potential for a bigger change. So learning from them and with them creates new knowledge and strategies how to deal and also challenge the inequalities in the current system. And if you're interested, you find more examples and case studies in Europe and also Latin America on the website of the Food for Justice project. And there will also be soon, hopefully, a working paper on the food movements mapping that I just mentioned.